I want kids so bad.
Um,
Never forget that they robbed you of your ability to have kids in your 20s. They made it so that having kids is an economic and financial disaster for you. They made it so that having kids, like, destroys your career.
A huge mission I have is to help as many people as possible have kids who want to have kids in a way that actually works for them. So you aren't under extreme financial strain, so you aren't exhausted. You actually get to have that dream of being a father or being a mother. Like, hell yeah, it's one of my favorite results of all the people I've worked with. There's been, I think we're at 9 children that have been born either from me coaching 2 parents or me coaching someone who met their partner, got married, and had a baby. One of my favorite results out of this work. And, you know, this guy says, they've made it impossible. I get nervous with that language, right? Like they, like who's they? Like the government of the world, the system. It kind of seeps into the victim space. Now, again, legitimate concern, legitimate fear. How do I afford it financially? In my experience, kids aren't actually the expensive thing. They're not actually very expensive. Their clothes are small. They don't have to wear a lot. They don't eat very much. Like, what's the extra cost? They don't need a bedroom when they're like a little baby. My son sleeps with me, but they need time. We need to be with them for lots of time, especially if we want them to grow up secure. That's where it can take away from career. You know, whether it's the mother who chooses to do that or the father who struggles with paternity leave, all these different things become a factor if you want to have a significant time with your kids, which I hope that everybody does. Now, this is where I really push for the idea of working smarter instead of harder. Working harder is like, I want to work more hours. Working smarter is like, how can I double down on some skill that I have that has me earn more? How can I be more creative or bold in my current profession that allows me to evolve and maybe negotiate the amount of time I spend working? Now, I get that not everyone sees a path for this, but I do genuinely believe that everyone can do this if they're willing to look. But if we're fighting for our limitations, which is what most people are doing, fighting to stay where we are, fighting for my boss won't let me, my city's too expensive, whatever it is, all those things might be true. But when you're being curious and creative, there's always a new path. That's what I do as a coach, is I help people find a new path. People often tell me when they're our very first call together, I'm going down this road. I don't really like it, but I feel like I can put it up with it. I really don't like this road. This doesn't feel good at all. And I'm like, okay, great. Let's not do either of them. Let's figure out option C, B, D to infinity. What else is there that feels genuinely good for you? We're not going to see it right away, but we got to get into dialogue to see what we can create. And before you know it, we come up with something that feels really, really good. And you can have that family, you can have all those things work out. If you're looking for coaching, if you're looking for support, comment LOF to get the details on how to work with me. Here's an example. I'm using AI. When you comment LOF, you're going to talk to my chat bot that I've trained to kind of speak like me. Not really, but kind of. And they're going to help guide you with some of the key questions you'll probably have about coaching. That's going to help me interact with you. And I'm not paying anyone to do that. I'm saving myself money and it's able to help me grow my business. There's an example of working smarter instead of harder. There's a lot of opportunities out there, but the voice to complain or fight for our limitations is a strong one. It's pretty easy to get on board with each other about that and get into a group and complain about our situation. And what I think this guy's really got going for him, he's got this huge love for wanting to be a father. Let's figure it out. Let's figure it out. And also tons of compassion for the discouragement, for feeling like it's impossible, for feeling like it's unfair, you know, compared to what other generations had to go to. At the same time, I promise you other generations had to go through things that we don't have to go through. Our quality of life is higher than it's ever been in human history. So it's just an easy thing to look in the rearview mirror and go, man, my mom had it easier. My dad, look at the price of housing. Like, all those things might be true, but there still is some version that they had that we don't have to deal with. If that makes sense. Comment LOF for coaching. Get support. Figure out a new path. Don't live up here in our complaint world.